Hello, hello. Oh, that's why. That explains a lot. All right, sorry, people. I am here. I do not look good. All right, here we go. We are here, indeed, at the Combot Collective. Just hold tight. I know it's the latest we've started. Just breathe with me here. I'm about to go live on Instagram as well. I hope you all are having a good morning. Just testing something right now. Okay. Oh, man. Hello, are we good? Hello, testing, testing. Seeing if Instagram can see me just well enough. I think we can. I look like shit today, Instagram. Please don't judge. I'll explain the whole ordeal here in just a moment. Probably don't sound very awake either. There's a reason for that. As hello, Captain Blanca from Broncabots. Welcome to the live stream, and hello, everybody else. Good morning. Happy New Year here from the Combat Collective. Let me sit up a little bit here, get everybody here in view. And hello, my beard looks rough. My voice probably doesn't sound the best. I think my camera's a little jagged, and I do apologize for the late start. We will run a little bit over just to make sure we can cover everything we need to talk about. It's a miracle, these dang. God knows I complain about almost every live stream we do one of these. They start so dang early, 7 a.m. Central Time, my time. Usually I get up in time perfectly. I must have been dead last night because I forgot to even set my alarm. I randomly woke up about 12 minutes ago, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot to set my alarm. Is it like 8 o'clock? I was like freaking out. And it said 6:59, and I was like, oh my God, I have 1 minute. So I hurried. I did about everything I could. I grabbed myself a breakfast drink. You gotta have your buble. And hello, guys. Welcome to another year Before the Havoc here at the Combat Collective live streams. First of May, we're going to be doing this year. Of course, you can always expect the NHRL live streams from us. No Robo Games live stream here this year, of course, unfortunately. Or, well, kind of had to be done. Let's be real here. We'd like to do live streams for other events, but I'm not sure exactly which ones to do because a lot of them don't really have a live feature, at least when it comes to the U.S. events. So if you guys have any considerations, yeah, that's the right word, considerations or suggestions for something like that, let me know. But yes, this is me, freshly woken up after 11 minutes. Haven't had a chance to shower yet either, something I usually do before the live stream. So like I said, I do apologize about that, guys. Instagram Live and YouTube here where we are. We're live on both. If you're live on Instagram, you can check us out on YouTube if you want graphics and everything. If you're taking a little bit easy, you're having a busy day on YouTube, come to the Instagram Live. We're going to be talking to everybody in both chats. We're going to have a lot of fun. But let's keep the ball rolling here, guys. Look at this. I haven't even had a chance to set up my overlay yet. Oh my goodness. I apologize, guys. What is this, amateur hour? There we go. Just as you see, may have posted the TCC Discord. If you haven't checked out the TCC Discord, please follow it. And yes, we got a lot of NHRL to talk about here, guys. As always, we have 12 robots from. I'm always so unsure on where I need to sit when I do one of these. There we go. We have 12 robots, of course, in the 3 weight classes to talk about. We have predictions, we have storylines, and we're bringing back the fights to watch out for in the qualifying round. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it here because it's always a lot to talk about. If there's one thing I've learned throughout these live streams, it's the content I have is pretty much just exactly an hour of content, and I always end up cutting it close. So we're not gonna keep yipping and yapping here. So far, I look so rough today. I do apologize, guys, on Instagram Live or YouTube as Art Musheyev has joined on Instagram Live. Good morning, buddy. Welcome aboard. And let's not going to waste time. You know, the interesting thing about this event is it is not your usual NHRL first of the year event. It is not a new bots only event. You know, we had one of those. Hello from Russia. Hello, hello. It's great to see you. We've had plenty of great fans coming in from our Battle of Robots rundown series that we've been doing. They've been a great success. Yes, Daddy. Such an awesome robot. I am in love with that robot. I'm glad that people have been turning out to watch the qualifier A and B rundown. The grand final rundown will be coming out. We're going to do the Extreme Robots rundown first, but it will be coming along. But I digress, talking about NHRL here. This is not a new bots event, despite some of the wild designs you might be looking at on screen right now if you're watching on YouTube Live. Um, Oh, you're very welcome. If you're a member of the team, it's a fantastic robot. I absolutely love that machine. A lot of fans in the USA have too, from what I've seen. Hopefully, one day we can see y'all inside the battle box or a different competition, or even hey, another Battle of Robots championship. We'd love to see that. But yes, not a new bots only event. We saw that happen last year. We saw that happen in 2023 with NHRL's first event of the year. I think it was in May for 2022. A little bit different, but this isn't a new bots event. In fact, I'm not even sure they're doing a new bots event this year. This looks to be more like a just sort of the February championship, the March championship, the May championship. They kept it pretty straightforward this year. And we still got some wild new robots. Don't get it twisted. And we're looking at 2 of them right here as we start talking about the 3-pound class. NHRL's bread and butter as Deep Snake has joined on Instagram Live. Welcome to the party, buddy. And, you know, one team that's always essential here at Norwalk Havoc that we got to talk about first, in my opinion, it's the Grapple Bots. It's Tom Farkas, the Hall of Fame guy from the Hall of Fame city in Cooperstown, New York. And we've seen him make some amazing robots in the past. In 2023, he brought us positively hysterical. In 2024, he brought us Mr. Roper. Mr. Roper is a great robot. It beat my robot, and it made it all the way to the finals last year. This year, it's a brand new thing. Now, we did have a chance to talk about it a little bit on the top of the show. I was in such a hurry to get going here. But we have some rule changes at NHRL this year. Some of them are built for the format. Some of them have to do with the venue itself. But I think the biggest one that people are going to be talking about, and the one that we're going to see influence the most changes in battle as we watch for hours of robot combat today, is the fact that you had no longer have a mini bot and the weight bonuses are shifted. Now the mini bot thing is one thing, but for the weight bonuses, obviously, so many robots were taking advantage of them. We had the things literally called the loophole rolls last year, and you know, shuffler robots getting crazy advantages, and weight advantages for multibots who already had enough advantages, especially in a 3-pound class. All those are gone, but of course, Grapplebots wanted to make a robot to challenge themselves to see if they can take advantage of the new weight rules NHRL is implying. If Okay, no more big words for me. I'm sorry, gang. So it's way too early. I didn't get my shower in or my breakfast. But regardless, we do have a true walker from the team here named Clockwork Princess Chelsea. And no, that is not a robotic replica of Meta Knight from Kirby. It's got 2 long waddling legs that stick out quite a bit forward and backwards so it doesn't fall over. It has a long articulated jousting arm on the front, which probably also help it stay over, along with being a weapon, maybe a lifter, but primarily a drill, as it has a drill on the front of this weird, wonky looking robot. Clockwork Princess Chelsea. A lot of syllables. What a fun looking machine. In fact, I believe we do actually have some footage of this robot moving as we move forward here, talking about this next robot, Blackbird, as I try to find footage of Clockwork Princess Chelsea moving. I had it just yesterday when I was doing some research on the robot, so it has to be not far. There it is. But let's talk about Blackbird here, of course. It's not a year at the Combat Collective unless I shout out Blackbird from the bottom of my heart and everybody there at Team Bad Ideas and not Team Bad Ideas. Gosh, that's the Washington team. Everyone from Robots Ruin My Life, especially my boy Tony D'Ambrosio. I've said it before, I'll say it again. There probably isn't another, in fact, I'm pretty sure there isn't another robot combat competitor in the scene that has helped me more with growing the Combat Collective more than Tony D'Ambrosio. I'll always give him my flowers, and I'll always give his robots his flowers, as we have Blackbird right here, probably my favorite NHRL 3-pounder. It is back. It missed the 2024 NHRL Finals, and it's here with a vengeance. Tony D'Ambrosio coming here now with the number 70 ranked Blackbird here at NHRL in the 3-pound class. Probably the lowest ranking it has had since it's been inactive for quite a while, pretty much a full year, if I'm not mistaken. Aria D'Ambrosio, though, is going to be driving the robot this time around. If y'all remember how that situation went. Tony's last event with the robot was, I want to say, December 2023. I think Aria had maybe one event in between here and there at NHRL. I know she's competed at other events, but at least at NHRL, I think she's had at least one or two other events where she has competed with Blackbird. But this is the first one this year, obviously. I mean, I guess it is for everybody, but especially for Aria and Blackbird here. The traditional NHRL meter bar drum, a true OG of the NHRL scene, of course. As I take a quick look over here. Oh gosh, I'm not even on the YouTube chat. I'm a amateur hour Jones over here. There we go. Hello, Prism. Hello, A-Star Robotics. Hello, my boy, What? From the BattleBots Wiki Discord. Cold Snap is another Beetle to watch. Maybe one of the strongest three that's fought at NHRL. I look forward to that. I can't say the Cold Snap name sounds familiar. As real quick, before I forget, here's some footage of Princess Chelsea walking. I mean, look at this thing. I'm off the camera here. I'm not telling you guys it's going to set any land speed records, but I mean, look at this thing. I love the night helmet. Big Ivanhoe vibes, and you know I'm an Ivanhoe fan. What a beautiful robot. I mean, come on now. Cold Snap, huh? It's also great to see people chatting in the YouTube chat. I love y'all. It is such a fantastic thing to see. We got a lot of people talking about Cold Snap. You guys aren't kidding, huh? It's made by the same guys who made Komodo. That's not a surprise. Komodo is no joke. A former NHRL finalist. I want to say, like, what, 2022? Cold Snap. Oh, is he an undercutter? A lot of people talking about this robot going back to November. Well, here's some dude's Lego version of it. I guess that gives us an idea. I can't believe, you can't learn them all. There we go. So I guess there's a good picture of Cold Snap, all his battles from Hickory Bot battles right there. We'll not watch it just a second because we got two other robots to talk about here, though. Like another horizontal spinner, of course. Some new teams are here, some new robots are here, but we also have old teams with new robots, and that brings us to our next machine to talk about here, Breakneck Nyan Nyan, here from the Sleepy Anime Girl Club. Very similar design. We've seen it before with robots like Steel Mountain. It is a 3-pound version of depth charge from a very experienced team. It's got the bristle drive. I had a buddy of mine being quite cynical about the bristle drive robots in the BattleBots Wiki Discord yesterday night, and I was like, come on now, man, at least give the robot a shot. This is a very experienced team, of course, with Sleepy Anime Girl Club. What's up, Rob? My boy Rob joining us on Instagram Live. Hope you're doing great today, buddy. Breakneck Nyan Nyan. It's made by an experienced team. We've seen Sleepy Anime Girl Club be a cornerstone of the NHRL 3-pound class over the past 2 to 3 years with Chainsaw Kitty. No Chainsaw Kitty this time around, though. It is just Breakneck Nyan Nyan. This robot is going to be all about the damage. Not really about the maneuverability, though I will say, this is not Breakneck Nyan Nyan's first ever battle. This is not Breakneck Nyan Nyan's first ever event, even. This is, it has competed in the past. I don't remember the exact name of the competition. I should, because I literally watched a video of it yesterday. I believe it started with a D. It fought a couple different robots in there. It fought 3 ant weights at one point. It's a, I mean, it's what you expect out of robots like Droopy and Steel Mountain. The movement's not going to be great unless it hits another robot and sends itself flying all over the arena. We'll see what happens from there. But, you know, I don't get too excited about these glass cannon spinners outside of Droopy. Because oddly enough, not oddly enough, it's a hard design to pull off. It's, usually doesn't end very well for them. So we'll see if that happens to be the case or happens to not be the case this time around. Hopefully not. I want to see this robot on the primetime stream. Big shout outs, big good luck to the Sleepy Anime Girl Club with Nyan Nyan. But we've talked about some new robots. We've talked about some old robots with new drivers. But let's go and finish this group off with the old guard, the NHRL #1 ranked robot right now in the 3-pound class, Mako, from the brother and sister which have been taking over the 3-pound class recently at NHRL. We have the shark themed fork bot here. Maybe the only articulated overhead saw in the sport right now that's really getting some buzz. Of course, everyone's using the hammer saw now. We had robots that were using the classic saw back in the day, like Scorpius and Sawblaze in 2018. Kind of went behind the wayside. Oh man, I'm already down to 5%. I'm gonna need to find a charger before this live stream is over. And it's so good at what it does. You watch any fight with Mako, and if you haven't before, you're just in for a treat. This thing's overhead saw blade is absolutely absurd. It will just rip through the top of just about any robot we've seen. And with a 3-pound beataway class, usually that battery is not too far under that top. These robots aren't the biggest, so usually with that one cut, maybe a cut or two after it, we're looking at robots usually buried in their own lipo flame. It's absolutely beautiful every time it happens, and hopefully we see it a lot here, because I feel like this robot is going to be going far. Now, we have robot fights to look at. We are going to still take a look at the bracket, but for the sake of time, we're going to save those fights to look at for the very end in a segment that we specially have for it now. A little bit of a teaser right there. As now we move on to the hobby weights to watch. We got big versions of mini robots. We got BattleBots teams here, 2 of each in fact, and they're split pretty nicely here. Starting off with Adamant Barrage from the 12-pound crew. Ew, fucking hell. Adamant Barrage, 12-pound Blacklash. You know what? I'm taking a drink. Oh my goodness, guys. I'm sorry. Remember to set your alarm, kids, because I am still figuring it out here, I think. Jesus. Yes, Adamant Barrage, 12-pound version of Black. I did it again. 12-pound version of Backlash Wave. Of course, we've seen this guy with plenty of robots before in the past. We've seen him with Sea Dragon's Roar. We've seen him with Backlash Wave. We've seen him with other robots. But I believe this is his first time in the 12-pound weight class. Backlash Wave was chosen as the one to replicate here. It's going to be kind of similar to similar robots we've seen in the past in the 12-pound class. We've seen robots like Huge. We've seen other very frame-like robots in the 12-pound division at NHRL, such as like Kaleidoscope. So, you know, such as Axis of Evil, such as Huge, such as our recent winner of the NHRL 12-pound finals Slam Plan. And now here we have Adamant Barrage. I mean, it looks solid. It looks like the forks that are holding up the entire weapon there are UHMW. We got an asymmetrical weapon. It's very solid looking. I think this machine's either going to lose spectacularly or win spectacularly. Get some big hits if that weapon can land right. You got to worry a little bit about gyroscopic forces with a robot like that, but we're just going to have to see what happens. Halloween time, though, early, as we have Grim Reaper, NHRL ranked number 17. I was a little surprised by how highly ranked it was, but, you know, you got to respect the robot's ranking. It didn't compete too much last year. It made a deep run. I think only in 1 or 2 events. That's probably why its ranking is so high. Was not competing at the finals. And this robot is great. I've said in the past, it reminds me of so many old school designs with its rounded shape, sleek design, simple but very attractive logo. This robot originally, like I said, was a 3 pound design, and the 3 pounder is at this competition. But we're highlighting the 12 pounder here because it's a little bit less known, it's a little bit less successful. It has a less mileage under its belt, but it's all the same fun. It's a very solid undercutter, and that might be a useful design. Maybe not against Adamant Barrage or even Sidewalk Slammer. We'll get to that robot in a second, but especially for Psycho here, you know, we can't have our robots to watch lists without a Jameson Go, a G3 robot in there if he is present. Ooh, excuse me. And we have one here with Psycho. No Megatron this time. The defending 30-pound champion of the world is going to have to wait a little bit. But we do have Psycho and Silent Spring at this event. We're going to talk more about their storyline later on. But Psycho is a very solid robot here. Compact. It's about as traditional and as meta as a 12-pound vertical spinner can be. That beater bar, egg beater right there at the front, is about as beefy as I've ever seen it. It very rarely breaks down, and certainly never breaks off the robot. The drive is phenomenal. We've only seen it give out a couple of times. Didn't have the best ending to the NHRL November finals last year. Kind of struggled at the end. Didn't make it all the way to the final two. That would instead be Slam Plan and Full Court. In fact, it might have not even made Final Four if I remember correctly. Wasn't the best run for Psycho. Did make it to the playoff single elimination round. But you know Jameson Go. He's an achiever. He wants the best out of his robots. And he's not going to stop till he gets there. Another team that always wants the best out of their robots that has quite the reputation is Sidewalk Slammer from Fast Electric Robotics. But listen in. If you do recognize Sidewalk Slammer, it's a very unique robot. Go think about Vortex Inducer. Vortex Inducer from the old, what was it, Dutch or German Robot Wars series. Big old two-wheel drive robot. It had a spinner on the front. Let me put my arms off to the side so you can kind of see me. Starts off vertical, but it can flip sideways and flip vertical depending on the situation it needs. It can even do it mid-battle. Obviously, it works a little bit better in the 30-pound class than it does the 220-pound class, and that's why this robot is back, though. Back for the first time since 2023, just like Blackbird. I think we haven't seen this robot since, like, what, March of 2023? Raiders didn't even have a World Series yet, all right? And it's such a fantastic, unique robot. It only went 1 and 2 the last time we saw it, but we know it holds the part. We know it certainly looks the part. It's driven by Justin Vasquez, the guy that we've seen drive Defender in the past at BattleBots and Robo Games. Well, I don't think he's driving Sidewalk Slammer here at this event, strangely enough. Let me go ahead and go over to the pins, and we'll take a look at this here at the NHRL Discord server. Because if I remember correctly, I found it quite fascinating. I think he had a different driver. As the Legend Rider 3255 joins in on the server. Live stream, I'm sorry. Yeah, Kevin Cabral from AIME is the one behind Sidewalk Slammer this time around. And here we go. Cold Snap is a bit from Miles from Scurryfest. It obliterated Impact at a competition. Well, that's really awkward when you see who my 3-pound winner is. Maybe next time a lot of British bots go to the event for NHRL, I'll be able to go maybe. Yes, that would be awesome to see Prism. If you guys don't know, in the chat, Prism is the driver of Malachite, who has recently been making the rounds on Mech Mania Robots Live, which is airing on Mech Plus. Check out Mech Plus if you haven't before. Original Robot Combat. Some of the only original Robot Combat from last year is on there with Mech Mania, and it's been a great watch so far. Another event we're going to be doing live reviews on, live rundowns on, I should say. As let me get back to what we were talking about here with a Sidewalk Slammer. Yes, labeled as driven by Kevin Cabral. Not familiar with the name at all. I was talking to some buddies about this situation yesterday, and I'm curious if someone bought the robot, or maybe this is a student or a cohort of Justin Vasquez, the Vasquez family. Very interesting to see. Probably won't win the championship because of that, but still, looking forward to seeing Sidewalk Slammer in action And now let's move over to the 30 pounders, the featherweight, as we are just over our halfway point in the live stream, I guess you could say. We will run a little bit over since we started late. And here we have, oh man, two brand new robots, two veterans, but only one real monster in the tank right here. And it's kind of a, it's kind of funny. We have the progression of a robot here. At the top, we have a team's first ever robot period. At the bottom, we have an NHRL finalist. Let's start the progression though. As hey, Craig Danby joining in on Instagram live stream at a perfect time. We are just about to talk about Slamson. But first, we're going to be talking here about Undertaker coming from a robot from a buddy named Justin. Actually, it's going to be fighting Slamson in the very first round of the qualifiers. Team Daddy Bots is joining Instagram Live. Welcome along, buddies. It's great to see y'all. Love y'all as a robot. Undertaker, of course, coming from a fella named Justin, brand new to the sport of robot combat, brand new to roboteering. This is the team's first ever combat robot, and it's kind of hard to believe when you look at this beautifully engineered picture of a machine that we are looking at on a screen right now if you're watching on YouTube Live. But that's the team's first ever robot. It's silver, it's sleek, it's got a badass egg beater, it's got two forks at the front, very similar to machines like Fireball that we've been seeing compete in the 250-pound class. Obviously no internal flywheel here, of course. But the machine looks great, it looks the part, but you can look as beautiful as you can in 30-pound competition. What matters sorry y'all. What matters is if you're reliable. And that can sometimes be an issue with these new robots coming in here for the first time, especially something as big for a new team as a 30-pound robot. We're going to have to see how that goes. I give them the highest of hopes, the highest of wishes, and the highest of praise, though, entering this competition. And they're going to be facing Slammo. It's going to be a good test of durability, weapon, and driving ability here for Undertaker in the first round of the competition. Slammo, I apologize, it is actually called Slam Son. It is the 30-pound version of Slammo, and I love me a good heavyweight turned featherweight, especially when the you look at a picture of it, you would just automatically assume it's the heavyweight. This is a one-to-one dead ringer of the Slammo we've been seeing competing at BattleBots, Robot Ruckus, Proving Ground, and the like. 4 big forks on the front. I'm sorry, actually 5 big forks on the front, all connected, all lifting together in unison. They have the top forks right there, so it still has suplexing ability. You have the pink frizzle mohawk because you got to have that, repping the FRC team for Craig Danby. Then you have the eye, and I was actually talking about this with Zasa on the BattleBots Wiki Discord. Is the eye digital? The eye looks digital. It looks like it's going to be looking around the arena all spooky when it's inside the arena. A lot of spinners in the competition. Hopefully that eye doesn't get damaged. It might be a little bit of an uphill battle for Slamson just because it is the only, I believe at least. Let me look here. Well, we do have Kazaa. Kazaa is here, but for the most part, the only control bot in the field right here, especially one that isn't a multi-bot. Slamson is going to have it's going to be tricky for Slamson, especially against robots like Chonkyv, but maybe it will have a little bit of luck against these boxier machines like Undertaker and like Ghoul. I got to give Ghoul the shout-outs here. Yeah, it's so fun to see a Roboteer, just get better and better and better every single time it competes. This is, of course, from Team Paul Tortorosi, maybe the biggest BattleBots fan. Not BattleBots. Of course, it's a BattleBots fan. Maybe the biggest Halloween fan in all of Northeast Robot Combat. And it's so funny. I mean, hey, look at this. We got a piece of one of his robots right here, Smack-A-Lantern, from when we fought it with the Combat Crusader. I remember when I was talking to Paul right before our battle, Smack-A-Lantern versus Combat Crusader, and he was so nervous. He seemed incredibly nervous. He said, I don't think this is going to go well for me. This is my first ever event. You're the first ever full-body spinner I fought. And, yeah, we had our issues, and, yeah, we kind of shit ourselves and died, but lo and behold, Smack-A-Lantern was the robot that ended up going through in that fight, defeated us by knockout, and went on to the championship bracket. So that was awesome to see. And what's even more awesome to see is how much the team has grown since then. The team's now running a primary 30-pounder named Ghoul. If you remember what Smack-A-Lantern looks like, Ghoul is pretty much improved in every single way. Better colors, better armor, better paint job, better speed, better weapon. It looks the part and has played the part so far with a number 26 ranking at NHRL after a couple of events last year. Should be good. Will it be a championship contender? We're just going to have to see if we'll go that far. But I am very excited for Ghoul. But are ghouls afraid of bees? We have Georgia Tech here with the Robo Jackets, who after a few strugglesome years at NHRL really figured it out last year and really brought us that Robo Jackets power we've known in the past from events like Robo Games. We have Chalky, whatever you want to call it. It's scary. It's December. Need a drink. Sorry, y'all. It is the number 2 ranked NHRL 30 pounder, and it had some barn burner matches last year, especially against Megatron. In fact, I think Chonky versus Megatron 2 last year, the one that was a championship final battle, probably my favorite fight of the entire year when it comes to NHRL meetings. It was really a great year for full body spinner matches when you look at Daddy versus Turbo Basha. Shout out to Daddy again. And Chonky versus Megatron. I think the full body spinners would have liked to have won those battles, but at least they put on a great show during those matchups. Chalky, of course, just a deadly full body spinner. We've seen it rip apart so many machines. Weighs 45 pounds. Absolutely terrifying. Very interested to see if it can still have that 45-pound weight advantage as it enters this new era of NHRL with the changes in rules and how locomotion works and the weight advantages that are given for it. I don't want to say anything for certain, but it certainly seems like that's the way we are leaning. But I digress. Let's keep moving forward here. We've talked about some fun beetle weights, hobby weights, and featherweights here from the walkers, the true walkers in the 3-pound class with Clockwork Princess Chelsea. The classic robots, the classic 3-pounders turned 12-pounders making the step up with Adamant Barrage and Grim Ripper. And of course, like we just discussed, heavyweights turning into 30-pounders with Slamson and true championship contenders with Chonkiv. Like I said, it's kind of funny. It goes from like finalist to proven veteran to veteran with new robot to straight up new team. Love to see the chain of growth there as the Hera official has joined in on the Instagram Live. Welcome aboard, buddy. Next thing we got to talk about here, as you know, with NHRL and our live streams, we didn't really have many of them last year. Not last year, during the NHRL files to talk about, just because there was so much to talk about, and that's the storylines. Maybe next time. Got second at Fight Fest last year. If you haven't seen, I actually haven't seen Fight Fest last year. I've been slacking on that. I did a video on it last time around. I really hope I can get around to doing it again. Alex Hall has been talking to me about that. I just gotta find time for it in the cards, so at least discuss it during an RCT or something. It's such a good event. But I digress, talking about NHRL here, the equivalent in the USA. First thing we got to talk about here, we already discussed it a little bit when we were looking at Psycho. It's a new season, but it's the same Jameson Go. It's the same G3 Robotics. These guys have like, what, 6 golden Bretts now? An infinite amount of golden dumpsters. I think 6 is maybe a little bit overshot on the golden Bretts, but let me think about it. Like, Megatron already has 2 major championships. Maybe it's their second or maybe 2 or 3 golden Bretts then, and that's the case. I don't think Psycho or Silent Spring has won one yet, believe it or not. Might be incorrect on that. Someone is more than welcome to fact check me. But what matters here is they're back. This is the best team in the world right now, bar none. They have so many unique designs, as we see with an event like this, with Silent Spring, you know, the shuffling undercutter, Psycho, the traditional vert, Buffalo Wings, the outside-the-box machine with the heat guns and the arms that can, like, hug you and attack you. That's a former finalist right there. These guys always do good. They won plenty of championships in 2022 from Battle Boss to NHRL. Plenty of championships in 2023 and 2024, pretty much exclusively at NHRL. And you know what? It's been a pretty busy month for G3 Robotics. If you guys don't know, they just finished a tour at BattleBots Proving Grounds, or I guess I should say BattleBots Destructathon, where they competed with a Sawblaze. Multiple upgrades were made to this brand new Sawblaze. I believe the rumor is they fought Chopper, ClashBots legend Chopper, during that event. And now Jameson Go is going pretty much across the USA 1 week later to compete at Norwalk, Vegas to Norwalk. And he's bringing the smaller bots this time, like I said. We got Psycho, we got Silent Spring. and I bet at least one of them brings home a championship. But Jameson Go has kept things the same. I've already discussed this too with the 3 pound class. New year, new changes for a lot of these teams. Obviously, we have teams like Team Sleepy Anime Girl Club. We don't see Chainsaw Kitty for the first time in God knows how long. This robot has been in all-star competitions. It's been on ESPN. It's been in the finals, but now it's in the back seat. I mean, I'm sure it's in attendance, of course, probably doing like freestyle fights or what they call them at NHRL. But here, it's all about breakneck nyan nyan. It's conceptual. It's unique. It's definitely not as meta as a vert, but it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And sometimes it's not even a new robot. Sometimes it can be an old team coming back with a new driver, like we have with Robots Ruin My Life, Team Shredded Bro, and Tony D'Ambrosio handed the controls to his daughter. She's been driving the robot for now, like, what, a year and a half? She might be a sneaky phenom at this event. She might make a championship run. You know she's passionate about it. We're going to have to see what happens. I really cannot wait to see Blackbird in action yet again. Hopefully NHRL posts all of its matches on the live stream. And then finally, new year, new leaf, New Year's resolutions for all of us, of course. Especially for a lot of these teams. A lot of teams we have labeled in this pile, this mishmash of robots you have on, I'm sorry, mishmash of robot teams we have on screen right now. And we'll look at that. We got Bone Dead Robotics. We got Team Defective. We got Honeycracked. We got colleges like WPI and Cincinnati in there. The Bearcats. What do they have all in common? Well, a lot of these teams had a really bad year or even a really bad final to set their pace, their tone for 2024, and they can't be happy about it. Like University of Cincinnati, outside of Maximizer, pretty much fell asleep this year. WPI, Honeycracked, Bone Dead, Defective, they all have robots in the finals, but they probably didn't have as many as they thought, given the sheer numbers of competitors that had arrived for them every year. Obviously, these guys bring armies and armies of robots every single time, but it just felt like not many of the robots made it to the finals. And when they did, especially for poor Bone Dead, they kind of had a rough run. Like what? Bone Dead Robotics went like what 1-5 in the NHRL finals last year. It was nasty work. I feel bad for them. Brandon Bennett Young, such a good guy in the sport. Maybe something can change here for all these teams. I bet at least one of these, 6-5 logos that we have highlighted here, one of them will make it to the finals. One of them may even win a championship before the end of the day, bringing home a golden dumpster. Got a question here from Legend Rider 3255. Would you like to go to India for an event someday? Actually, yeah. I've never been outside of the country. India, especially some of those bigger cities, especially for an event like IIT Tech Fest, especially if I traveled with somebody, I think I'd be a little terrified doing it on my own for the first time. I think it could be a good time. I want to expand my footprint. I was actually talking to my buddy, not in TCC, about this the other day. I want to be more boots on the ground, man. I want to be at some events in HRL. Hopefully, we can get an event in Dallas I can go to or something like that. I gotta do something, that's for sure. I mean, y'all don't want to just see me yapping inside my studio apartment, I'm sure. As phenomenal as my backdrop can be sometimes. Maybe not today. It might be a little bit of a mess, but usual. But yeah, Legend Rider, I'd love to be at India for a competition and talk to you guys. My Indian fans have always been very exciting. They've always been very excited about TCC. Um, I really don't cover the events as much as I should, though. I've always wanted to do a full rundown video on IIT Tech Fest, but it's just been so tricky because there's usually not a live stream for it. The fights are so misplaced, mismatched everywhere, and I usually have trouble finding brackets. But that might just be a lack of research on my end, you know. But here we go. Invitation to your event. Well, I would love to go. Obviously, funding to get myself there is one thing, but I would love to go. I truly appreciate the invitation. 3 pound, 8. I'm sorry, 3 pound, 8 kilogram, 15 kilogram NIT Surat. Something worth keeping in mind if you're a Robot Combat fan in India. Look at that. But moving forward here, we have like what, 15, 20 minutes to keep talking here before we got to keep moving on and get out of the way for NHRL on YouTube. As where's my next graphic I want to pull up here? There we go. We already talked about Robots to watch out for, of course. No reason to highlight them again. We just went over the stories there, the storylines. Maybe not the best storyline bundle I could have given you guys. I do apologize. But really, there's not really storylines to talk about yet. It's a new year. We're sort of setting the ground, and that's sort of what we did with those three. You know, new robots, new names, new year resolutions, best team coming in, all of that stuff. But now, for the first time in quite a while, to be honest, I think the last time we did this was the March before the Havoc, and this is something I want to do. I was thinking about like, well, how do I make the streams better this year? Because I have the same format as I always have. I have the same graphics that I always have. What do I do that's better? What do I do that's different? Well, um, we're bringing back. Tell you what, we're bringing back. My dog has just entered the room. Look at her. You can see her head peek. Oh, camera shy. Bella, come here. I hope she didn't make a mess of my bed, man. But I digress. Yes, we have 7 highlight robot fights to discuss here from the 3 weight classes, and maybe even more than that. But these were the 3 that really stuck out the top of my head when I pulled up True Bracket last night, and I was looking at the matches here. I already mentioned it. The first one we have here at the top of the page here: Undertaker versus Slamson. This is not WrestleMania, brother. It might be the same day as the Royal Rumble, which is pretty exciting. A lot of fun stuff to watch today. I'm also even going to an independent wrestling show later today. But we have Undertaker versus Slamson, 2 first-time ever robots facing off one another. One's all offense, one's all defense. It's going to be interesting to see how Slamson does here. We've seen Sir Clips before in the past at NHRL compete in a 3-pound class, and sometimes he has trouble getting that big victory, getting that big lift, getting that big controlling slam. So hopefully we can see that happen this time around. If Undertaker has weapon issues, if Undertaker has first blood gremlins, it's probably going to happen. We're going to have to see. Now let's go on to some more experienced robots, some veterans of the game here with Goose and Vorion. Vorion, one of those NHRL finalists from Boded Robotics that, you know, oh gosh, excuse me, looked great last year. Looked absolutely great last year. Won NHRL championship, but did not do well at the NHRL finals. I think it went over to 1 or 2, something like that. They're going to be representing NHRL in this NHRL versus Robo Brawl battles of sorts. As we have taking on Goose here in round 1. Goose coming from UIUC, coming out of Illinois, just outside of Chicago. This is a 4-wheel drive vertical spinner. We've seen it compete at NHRL in the past with minimal success. It's still a pretty new robot, but I love these college teams. These guys have a ton of solid robots like Crack that are just fun to watch, fun to look at. And Goose vs. Vorion should be a pretty fun battle between traditional drum and traditional spinner. Moving forward here to the 12-pound class, we have Psycho. Talked about this robot earlier, Psycho. Honestly, I've talked about this robot a lot during this live stream. How can you not? Driven by Jameson Go, probably going to win the championship, but we'll get to that later. If you're going to win the championship, you got to get through the first round here, and it's going to be taking on Energizer in round 1. We have a multi-bot here in the picture, but I don't think this is accurate. I believe this is an outdated picture because if you go to the registration page for NHRL, I'm looking at it right now, we have Energizer, but it is labeled as a treaded drum bot. So maybe a little bit taken from what one Jameson Go has brought to the NHRL competitions with treaded designs, as Energizer now no longer a traditional 2-wheel drive vertical spinner. It is indeed a drum bot now with treads. Quite fascinating to see. We have no pictures of it, at least as far as I'm aware. I guess I could look up Energizer real quick, as all like the team aren't active on social media and on the Discord. Doesn't really look like. Oh wait, no, I lied. Maybe they have been running treads because I feel like I've seen this robot before. We've seen this robot before, right? We've definitely seen this guy compete before. Maybe it is a multi-bot. I mean, it is from Team Honeycracked, as King Pie Games joins on the Instagram Live. Welcome along, buddy. I mean, it looks the part. The treads look good. I think Plus One Minum has treads now too, don't they? So yeah, treads are just taking over at NHRL now, man. You love to see it. You really do. Because for the longest time, it felt like it was definitely more of a gimmick over anything to have treads. But those treads are going to be very much in danger against a robot like Psycho because, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. We've seen matches like Hyperica versus Redhorn. Those treads, you rip one open, it's pretty much over for these robots. They're stuck in circles, they're stuck limping and squirming around, and it's usually not a good time for these robots, especially a robot that has not nearly as many miles under its belt as one Psycho. But man, numbers game could play a part here. Maybe Energizer can pull off something. I would love to see it. As we now move on to a vertical spinner versus horizontal spinner matchup, or maybe it will be a horizontal spinner versus vertical. Jesus, Sterling. A horizontal spinner versus horizontal spinner matchup, or maybe a vertical spinner versus horizontal spinner matchup. Could switch halfway through. Sidewalk Slammer versus Caldera 12. Sidewalk Slammer, of course, has the drama, the issue of a new team member driving the robot here. We discussed it earlier. Not Jason Vasquez behind the wheel this time. A little bit surprising. They're going to be taking on a robot known for consistency, known for having the same driver, known for having the same design at every single NHRL event. We have a good friend of mine, Glenn Boxell, with Caldera 12. Glenn was such a supporter of the Combat Crusader when I was over there in March. Giving him the best support here against Sidewalk Slammer. Caldera 12 was a finalist last year. I think it might have even won an NHRL 12-pound event. Certainly qualified. Certainly had some good runs on the way there. Robot, I want to say debuted last year. Had a rough start. Really figured it out on the way as it went. Whether that will be the case this year, maybe another rough start. Hopefully not. I'd be surprised if there is a rough start for a machine like this. But we're talking about robots that have always been here. Talking about two robots we haven't seen in a while with Blackbird versus Ratfish. These are two robots that have been to the NHRL finals before meeting in the very, very first round today. We have Aria D'Ambrosio against the old guys from Florida. Guys that we've seen in the past compete with machines like Big Ratfish, the heavyweight. This is the machine it was based off of. Two-wheel drive, some of the sturdiest forks in the tournament, some of the sturdiest wheels in the tournament, and one of the best lifters, and honestly, some of the most underrated driving the competition has to offer. You rarely see Ratfish get knocked out, and more often than not, you'll see Ratfish knock out robots that it has no business knocking out. You know, this machine definitely compares to robots like Supreme Ruler, like Clyde, who we'll be talking about here in a second, as you can see. It's a well-driven machine. I really do worry about that for Aria D'Ambrosio competing against Demir. Blackbird, very solid robot, can do some damage, can rip some chunks out of those wheels if that big beater bar lands in the right spot, but got to make sure it lands there first. I'll be cheering for Blackbird, but I also, both these robots, after we get linked to the bracket, they've gone their separate ways. I'll cheer for both of them, but right now, I got to lean towards my boy Tony with Blackbird, of course. You got to cheer for the father-daughter team. Father's Day is around the corner, kind of. Hey, I mean, it's in less than a year, right? Moving forward, of course, at the start of the live stream, we talked about Clockwork Princess Chelsea. It's a very wacky design. Some cynical people might say it's a free win for some of these guys in the qualifiers if you happen to draw this robot. Maybe true. It is the Grubble Bots, though, so I'm sure we're going to see Clockwork Princess Chelsea at just about every single event it can possibly compete in this year. Which means, just like we've seen in the past with Mr. Roper and Pause, at least one or two poor suckers this year will probably lose to these guys. I mean, I was one of those poor suckers in the past. Will it be Money Shot, though? And the robot which will be facing Chelsea in her debut battle from WPI Robotics. Money Shot in the past has, I thought it was a horizontal spinner, but I guess it isn't. It's an all-green two-wheel drive vertical spinner from Team WPI Robotics. Very traditional design, custom built, not a kit bot, so you got to respect that. Solid vertical spinner at the front, but it is kind of on the smaller end. Might end up being an issue against a robot with a weight advantage like Clockwork Princess Chelsea. Really depends on how well the princess can move. And really depends on how well that javelin, that jousting lance with the drill in the front can actually do some damage. Will it be able to get in there? Will it be able to, hit internals? Will it be able to maybe lift a robot? Will it even last a second against another vertical spinner? Might just get chopped off. Might just get bloody circumcised for all we know. We're going to have to see what happens there. And then finally, for battles to talk about that are worth highlighting, we have a fun one here. We've seen both of these teams in the past at NHRL competitions. In fact, we've seen both these teams in the past at the NHRL finals back in November. though one of them had a Chainsaw Kitty. Now we're here with Breakneck Nyan Nyan in the 3 pound class. Probably doesn't weigh 3 pounds. As we also have Clyde here. One problem, maybe we haven't seen mixtape in quite a while. NHRL. Calvin Eve has been busy with other things, so maybe this is the best flamethrower at NHRL right now. It certainly looked the part at the finals. Looked fantastic when it I have the record here somewhere. Gosh, went 2-2, made it all the way to the quarterfinals back in November with that fantastic Flick of Flame. I was curious if these two robots have ever faced before, or at least these teams have faced before, if there has been a Chainsaw Kitty versus Clyde meeting in the past, but now I'm looking at it, I don't believe there has been at all. So this might be the first battle ever between Team WPI Robotics and the Sleepy Anime Girl Club with Breakneck Nyan Nyan and Clyde. I talked about it at the top of our fights to watch for, a machine that's all offense versus all defense with Undertaker versus Slamson, but maybe, just maybe, there's no truer case of all offense, all defense than Breakneck Nyan Nyan, a wheelless robot with a massive fuck-off spinner on the front, taking on Clyde, a robot with no true active kinetic weapon or even lifting weapon. It's all forks, it's all wheels, and it's all flames. Can't wait to see Clyde in action. We're going to see, Gabriel Brown, his awesome little fire hat that he's always wearing. I got to get one of those. I really do for the live streams. But there you go, guys. 7 fights to watch out for out of the qualifying rounds. Obviously, there's going to be many more fights for these robots. We could very well see Undertaker versus Vorion, Psycho versus Caldera. In fact, we probably will see that at some point. Ratfish versus Clockwork Princess, Clyde versus Money Shot, Blackbird versus Nyan Nyan, or numerous other robots. As you guys know, going over to the bracket right here, there are always plenty of matches for these robots. Matches I didn't even have a chance to talk about here, like Ghoul versus Whack, Floor Letter Word versus Bunny Holly. We didn't even get a chance to talk about Floor Letter Word. That's another robot making a comeback for the first time in quite a while at NHRL. We also have Buzzkill here versus Threat Level Minor. Maximizer with Jake Hoffman making their 2025 debut against Tinkertron, a robot that's apparently a lifter. I was going to have this robot in my preview list, but can't find the info on it. It's a brand new machine. All I know is we've seen the Creature, another lifter robot, defeat Maximizer in the past, so lifters can defeat that powerful kinetic energy Thagomizer style 12-pounder. Very fascinating to see. We got Torrent. There's another robot which has won in the past at NHRL. They're going to be taking on Adamant Barrage. That's going to be a true test for the brand new 12-pounder. Tabby 12, there's a 3-pounder turn 12-pounder right there. They're going to be taking on Caldera. And of course, in the 3-pound class, we got Tricker Beater, another guy from Tortesini, fighting there alongside Root Locust. Anubis versus Team Bone. Cold Snap, the robot that the Radix team was just telling me about. Radix, sorry. Was just telling me about. Cold Snap versus Prince. That's going to be phenomenal. We got Frostbite back. We got Blender. This is apparently a brand new robot from the WPI team. Sea Dragon's Roar joining alongside, Jesus, can't believe I forgot the name. Adamant Barrage here. They're going to be taking on Melon Baller. Yippee from Chad Wazio, coming from all the way in Colorado. They're going to be taking on Chipmunk. The OG, Stag Beetlebot, they're here. Eruption, they made a great run deep into the NHRL finals last year. They're here. Sad Octopus is here. That's a great name. I love that name. Comet, Rick Roller, Clyde, Spin Cycle, Jaeger. Not the Battlebots one, at least you wouldn't think so. Buffalo Wings. Of course, from G3 Robotics, they're taking on Spinny Boy 3000. They're going to be fighting in just seconds. In fact, they may very well have already fought. Impact, meanwhile, has gotten a pass through on a forfeit, and you couldn't have a better transition because now let's talk about our winners. And this is why I said it's kind of funny that A-Star Robotics brought up that Impact was obliterated by Cold Steel because as you can see here, I may have picked them to win the championship today. My bad. Look, guy, I didn't know about this Cold Steel robot. I'm not going to say I would have picked Cold Steel. I might have if I knew it had such a reputation entering this competition. I was certainly looking at some comments after you made the post saying about Cold Steel, and it's true. There were people predicting this robot to win. But I am going to stick to my guns. I am going to stick to the Phenom driver. Maybe one of the most underrated drivers in the game. Or maybe not. Maybe he is getting his flowers. With Lars Elliott and Impact here, it's a solid robot. We've seen it be very successful in the past, inside and outside of NHRL. Two small forks on the front, big egg beater drum on the front. Very similar to machines like Lynx, like Mad Catter, like Riptide. I digress. It's a solid robot, very well put together. As long as those will run to Cold Steel or maybe some of these other fairly threatening robots here in the February Championship, it can make that run. I got out of at least one robot here. That's a little bit of a wild card prediction because for my 12-pound and 30-pound, I played it safe. 12-pound class, I really do believe that G3 Robotics is leaving with a championship today, and the robot that will leave with that championship will be Psycho. I bet it's going to meet against Maximizer in the finals, and Psycho is going to win a judge's decision. Meanwhile, in the 30-pound class, without a Jameson Go robot in presence, in attendance, Chalky is going to have a pretty easy path to the bracket championship, I think. I mean, I'm looking at registration right now. They have like 12 robots signed up for the 30-pound championship this time around. Floor letter word might be tricky, but I also feel like the horizontal spinner might have trouble getting purchased against a shell like Chonkiv's. Kazal Light, they may be able to overwhelm Chonkiv if they can keep the robot off of its base, keep it from spinning, keep it in the arena corners, and keep that fire just directed onto it. Slamson, maybe. Same situation, you got to keep it from spinning, you got to flip it over really quick. Synthesis 30 is also here. Kind of a scary robot. Didn't see it on the list of robots competing. Probably makes sense. Probably got to pass through the first round of qualifiers. Wouldn't make sense. There is a NHRL finalist. Might go all the way. Maybe he'll be the one to stop Chonkiv. Maybe Vorion will be the one to stop Chonkiv. But I really do believe it's going to be the day of the full body spinner this time around. And these guys are going to win their way in. Will it be the first ever win in a championship here at NHRL with the full body spinner? I'm looking up Chalky up real quick on the wiki. Let's see what we got here. No, never mind. April 20th, the big weed event. They actually won. Look at that. My brain's deteriorating. But I digress. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, a bit of a brain fart there. I'm falling apart here. Going over our prediction winners one more time here. My apologies, y'all. Jeez, it was a real brain fart. Impact, driven by Lars Elliott. My wild card pick here to win the 3-pound class. Psycho, Japanese for exciting, in the 12-pound class. My prediction, Jameson Go is taking some hardware today. Somewhere, dang it. And in the 30-pound class, from the Robo Jackets of Georgia Tech, I got Chonkiv. So there you go, guys. 12 exciting robots from the NHRL competition today. The February Championship ran over. We talked about stories to follow. We gave our winner predictions. We even looked at some fights to watch out for. So there you have it, guys. Another NHRL before the Havoc in the books. Thank you all so much. I apologize big time for the late start. We made up for it for the most part. This was a solid 55-minute show for you guys. We still talked about everything we need. NHRL is probably just now going live on YouTube, so get ready to shuffle over to the Brett Zone to watch that. But in the meantime, I do want to talk to you guys. Thank you all so much for another awesome live stream here at TCC. 2024 was a fun year. It was a very successful year for me. With TCC, we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. We did the Combat Crusader, which, stay tuned. Watch that space. We might not be done with that robot at all, it seemed like. And even won an award from outside the bots, and I didn't even know about it until a month later. I'm really embarrassed about it, but apparently I won the Golden Microphone Award, which is, I'm at a loss for words. To know that my peers in the combat content scene think I'm at that level, it really does warm my heart, because I put a lot into these videos, and to see it noticed, sometimes the views get frustrating. It really does make me happy. And then talking about the views, I really haven't had much to be frustrated last year when we had stuff like the Battle of Robots rundowns, the BattleBots face-off previews, getting thousands and thousands of views, the RoboGames preview live stream having like 30 viewers at one point. People are still watching that video. The NHRL live streams getting I'm making new friends from that, like A-Star Robotics, like these guys from India and Russia that pop into the chat, having old friends and new friends coming in to see what I'm doing during these live streams. It's been so good. I did hate how little I posted last year though. You guys probably know I made like what 10 videos last year, if that. Really wasn't my game. So this year's going to be a lot different. I want to be a lot more focused, especially now that I'm getting this praise, I'm getting this respect. People are really seeing me. I want to be able to put it out there. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers. You know, the live streams are still going to be doing it. We're still going to be doing them, especially for the NHRL ones. So stay tuned for those. We're going to be right here. Same Immensity Havoc format, same graphics, same overlays, same robot preview, same predictions. But we're also going to be talking about, you know, more breakdowns. We got Extreme Robots European Championship breakdown. That's next. That's in deck. In the hole, we have Battle of Robots finals, and after that, it's probably going to be Mech Mania. We also have Robot Combat tonight. We're recording the first episode of that in over a year. Later this week, we're changing up the format. We're going to make it a lot shorter. I'm excited about that. And I know you guys are excited about Norwalk Havoc. You know, I gotta quit saying Norwalk Havoc. That's like one of my biggest vices. It's National Havoc. It's been National Havoc for like a year and a half. But I digress. National Havoc Robot League. It is kicking off right now. Chris DeSico, Luke Stengel are probably at the desk wondering why Sterling Brown has taken their viewers, or viewer, I guess. I mean, it is a TCC live stream here. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, though, guys. We got robot fights to watch. A lot of them today. You know how it goes. So, guys, thank you all so much for watching us here at the Combat Collective, bringing everything you all want to know from the world of robot combat, from the heavyweight class to the flyweight class, from BattleBots to the live circuit. Happy New Year. Happy new NHRL season. Happy new era. New times of robot combat. Hopefully we can get some BattleBots on TV this year, right? I digress. Thank you all so much for watching another episode of Amidst the Havoc. I'm sorry, gosh. Getting my own show run. Before the Havoc, NHRL pre-show. Now, guys, let's go watch some robots fight. Y'all take it easy.